Lately, I've been reflecting on my last years as a believing Jehovah's Witness and the Watchtower materials that actually contributed to my awakening. While their printed literature does feature some very faulty reasoning, seeing the teachings portrayed vividly in video form really drives the toxic nature of the organization home. So today I'm going to review a video called Jehovah Will Care for Our Needs. It's not the most extreme video Watchtower has produced, but in my personal experience, it was among the first videos to help me to see how unreasonable the society's expectations are and how little they appreciate the circumstances of ordinary witnesses. Let's take a look.
I've always enjoyed my work, and even the people I worked with. It's hard to balance work and meetings.
Saying that it's hard to balance work and meetings is probably the understatement of the year. Not to mention the field service, circuit overseer visits, assemblies, conventions, etc. And then they expect you to reach out to be a ministerial servant, elder, and pioneer, where you'll be doing even more time-consuming, unpaid labor.
But since I was baptized, I've always done my best to be there. My wife is a great support. And we work hard to teach our children. They've been my greatest joy. I want to make sure that they're cared for. I believed that if I worked hard enough, I'd always be able to provide for my family. But my boss wanted more than I was willing to give. He insisted that I work Sundays during my meeting. I needed this job. My wife and I were worried. What would happen if I lost it? I was determined to take a stand for my meetings. I spoke to my boss and explained my decision, but he refused to compromise. I was shocked. I didn't think this was how it was supposed to go. How would I support my family? Paul studied the Bible with me. We've been close ever since. He invited me out, and I guess he'd heard about what happened. He really listened as I poured out my concerns. I wondered if I should have just done what my boss insisted. I would have missed my meeting, but I still could have attended an evening meeting at a different congregation.
Some congregations do have Saturday or Sunday meetings in the evenings, especially in bigger cities with lots of congregations in the same hall. Now that so many of the halls are being sold, maybe we'll start seeing more of that. If they ever go back to the halls, that is. But that does make it more convenient to let the meetings fit around your work schedule instead of the other way around, which honestly only makes sense. Until people start looking down on you for attending a meeting you're not assigned to. Have you ever made repeat visits to a different congregation and been met with passive-aggressive inquiries about why you're there? Or have you ever had shade thrown at you when people realized that you attended a different meeting or a convention date because of work or some other reason? Let me know in the comments. So basically, this video expects people to walk away from their livelihood just to attend their assigned meeting, even though there's another meeting available that teaches the exact same nonsense. It's not enough that you're consenting to be indoctrinated by their organization. You have to submit to your indoctrination where and when they say so. It's ridiculous.
My skills were limited, and there just weren't that many jobs out there for me.
Well, they definitely know most witnesses will be able to relate to that statement. This is a problem that many JWs will face since the organization condemns higher education. And realistically, if you are an unskilled worker, most of the jobs available to you will require that you work evenings or weekends. Even a lot of the trades that witnesses are technically allowed to learn will involve evenings, weekends, or possibly even being on call. Yet the Watchtower schedule of activities is still set up for people who only work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or similar hours. Even when I was a believing witness, I always thought this was a very outdated model for the organization in today's world. The society has essentially set their members up to fail.
I told him I was seriously considering a job that would involve a lot of travel. Paul read to me from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 33. Stop being anxious about your lives as to what you will eat, or what you will drink, or about your bodies as to what you will wear. Keep on, then, seeking first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added to you. He reminded me that as a newly baptized witness, my prayers are much more readily received, and Jehovah was ready to respond.
What the heck? As a newly baptized person, his prayers are more readily received? Much more readily received, apparently. I guess even Jehovah love bombs new recruits at the beginning, before treating them like crap later. Where does this teaching even come from? Not the Bible, right? Also, they've been using Matthew 6:25 and 30 to trick witnesses into not properly planning for their futures for decades. It's a real shame.
He encouraged me to include Jehovah in my decision. Patience is not easy for me, but I decided to look to Jehovah to provide the right job. So every day I kept looking. But work never came. I never thought that it would go on so long. Eventually, I had to go on unemployment insurance so we could get by.
Eventually, he had to go on unemployment? Come on, is this family scenario realistic? He was supporting a wife and 3 children in a nice-looking house as a cook. Okay, but he also has enough excess money just lying around that he remained unemployed for 6 months? All the while turning down jobs that involve travel, weekends, his meeting night, or jobs that are otherwise condemned by Watchtower. Like many families that live in what looks like the United States, they likely would have been struggling even before he lost his job. And you're telling me that he didn't even go on unemployment compensation right away? No wonder some witnesses have started asking questions like,
Do you think the brothers who write Watchtower articles are living in the real world? I wonder if they realize just how hard it is out here.
no doubt there are many cooks who provide well for large families. But I bet if they lost their job, they wouldn't be sitting around just chilling for 6 months, refusing to work weekends and turning down jobs.
I knew that I was doing the right thing, but I couldn't help feeling that I was letting my family down. One night, I was reminded of Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 6. Observe intently the birds of heaven. They do not sow seed, or reap, or gather into storehouses, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not worth more than they are? I realized that I was still relying on myself and not fully throwing my anxiety on Jehovah.
That's right. Even when you quit your job for Jehovah, refuse to make a reasonable compromise, like attending a different meeting, for Jehovah, turn down a job that involves travel for Jehovah, restrict yourself to jobs that'll fit Watchtower's requirements for Jehovah, and then still nothing happens and you don't receive any sort of blessing, it's got to be your fault. You didn't have enough faith. You either relied too much on yourself, or conversely, you didn't do enough to work in harmony with your prayer. So you're damned if you do, and damned if you don't. If you don't get an answer to your prayer, there's always room for it to be your fault. And then there's the classic, Jehovah may have answered, but sometimes the answer is no. It can never be that the organization is asking you to make the wrong sacrifices. It can never be that Jehovah is not real, and that's why praying to him has about the same success rate as not praying at all. They make all these promises of support that you're supposed to receive, but they make the promise in the name of Jehovah. That's so when it fails, you can't blame them, and you can't blame Jehovah because he's God. So either blame yourself or throw up your hands and say, wait on Jehovah. That's another of their favorite lines.
My skills may be limited, but Jehovah's are not. So, I kept on looking, but I used my extra time to auxiliary pioneer. It was just what I needed. Eventually, Jehovah opened the door and blessed my patience with a job that was nearby with good hours for my meetings. I even had more time for the ministry with my family. It was not an easy experience, but my faith in Jehovah was stronger than ever. I saw him act in my behalf, and I know that he really does care for me and my family.
You don't have to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses to be unemployed, although Jehovah's Witnesses are often unemployed for much more stupid reasons than other people. And you don't have to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses to get a job again at some point either. What proof is there that Jehovah was involved in any way? Consider this. You can't see God and you can't hear him audibly answer your prayers. The idea is that you can only see the results of your prayer being answered. So if the answer to your prayer can be yes, no, maybe later, or only if you take certain actions and refrain from other actions, how would you be able to tell that God really answered with so many contingencies? One more point to keep in mind is that this video will impact different types of witnesses in different ways. There are more relaxed witnesses who attend whichever meeting is convenient for them, or even miss meetings. Some of them may also travel extensively for work or take jobs that are otherwise less than exemplary. But based on this video, you can clearly see that Watchtower does not promote such a relaxed attitude. So while the more relaxed witnesses might say that those of us who got fed up with the organization's demands simply lack balance, the reality is that we were just following what the religion actually teaches. As I've said before, the governing body does not promote balance. I struggled a lot as one of Jehovah's Witnesses to always make my assigned meetings, even though I had limited job skills, thanks to the organization. I was also a ministerial servant and a pioneer for many years, yet I was always made to feel bad by judgmental elders because I was rarely available on Saturdays to meet with my field service group. Whatever you do for the organization is never enough. After watching this video for the first time, I really started to see through this aspect of JW culture, how demanding and out of touch they are, and how unrealistic their expectations are. But let me know what you think in the comments section. And make sure to subscribe for the next one, and please tap the thumbs up button if you appreciated some aspect of this video. Thanks for watching.